Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
Hail to the guardians of the watchtowers of the East.
Central Maine's best comics podcast. By default.
Maybe it's a sign that you've got an extraordinary destiny.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Expecto Patronum!
Are you there, America? It's the day after Election Day. Did we survive?
Can I come out of the bunker now?
The past 18 months have been questionable. Did we live through the night?
The thing is, we don't know who won.
No.
Because this is Monday. But my goodness, doesn't it feel like winter out there?
I'm so glad.
Cold.
Yeah, it's been cold and frigid, and I'm so glad this crap is finally over with.
Yes.
What's Twitter like without an election? I haven't been on Twitter.
Oh, please. The social media fallout is going to be spectacular.
I haven't been on, I got on Twitter for the store. I've never been on Twitter without an election. What's that like?
Somebody will find something else to complain about.
Yes. I thought
Please.
I thought
Twitter's
it'd all
full of
be cats.
irrational hate.
I just wanted it to be cats.
Oh, you can find cats any time of the year on Twitter.
Yes.
Why My Cat Is Sad is a great Twitter follow, by the way.
All right, you heard it here first, or second.
Somewhere.
Or with how many followers they have.
A few. More than I do.
Where's your beer?
I totally whiffed on beer tonight. I forgot.
Oh.
It's okay.
This is my last one, so no.
I don't need beer to do the show. I'm going to do the show with a clear conscience.
Do I have things I need to talk about? I do, before news.
Oh, okay.
The store will be open this weekend, but I will be gone. I'll be down at Rhode Island Comic Con, so if there's anything you desperately want to buy, do it tomorrow, because I'm probably bringing it with me.
Ooh, are you bringing the giant Leonardo with you?
No, that would be cumbersome.
Oh, we'll just put it on top of your car and drive down the interstate. That would be a conversation starter.
I didn't rent enough space to bring that.
Oh, you're going to see Stan Lee, though, this weekend.
Yep. I'm basically going to just man my table. I'm not really leaving a lot.
Oh, but you're going to leave to go see Stan Lee.
I'll leave to see Stan.
You're going to get your picture taken with Stan?
No, that cost an extra $100. I'm not doing that.
Come on. Do you have a picture of Stan Lee?
No.
You should. Dude, don't not get a picture with Stan Lee. I'm sure we can scrounge up $100. Hey, let's fundraise for Zach. A quick GoFundMe for Zach to get his picture taken with Stan Lee.
Just take a clink bag.
There. Well, it's $100. Come on. You've bought art way more expensive than that. It's a keepsake. You'll have it forever. You can put it in the store. You can even have him giving a thumbs up or something, and then or holding up an Editor's Note Comics sign.
No.
It's worth the $100 in advertising. You should do it, dude.
It's not worth $100 in advertising.
Yes, it is. Stan Lee holding up your comic book store sign.
I'm aware of who he is.
Yeah, but think about that. People who like comics like Stan Lee, and Stan Lee holding up a picture of your comic book store sign would be like, Stan Lee knows comics, and he's approving of this message. He's making comics great again.
I feel like his image probably has some kind of copyright around it.
I think it'd just be cool to get a picture with Stan Lee.
I bet it would be.
Well,
for a richer man.
Hey, treat yourself to something nice.
I am getting a signature.
How much does that cost?
$100.
$100 for a signature?
Yeah.
Are you gonna get it? What do you have him signing?
Page over there from the last Fantastic Four book you worked on.
Oh, nice.
That's why I have that page.
So that's going to increase the value of that exponentially.
I don't sell my art.
Well, no, but I'm just saying.
Value doesn't matter. I have the art that I have. I don't sell it.
Fair enough.
Everything that I already sold 90% of the things I owned in the store. That's enough.
Put it in a lockbox.
Or in a frame on that wall over there.
In a lockbox.
It's a locked house.
Yes.
So Rhode Island's coming up. What else is happening? Oh. If you see me posting random articles to the Facebook or the Twitter, just click on them.
Is this another money-making scheme?
Yeah, I'm a paid writer again, but I just get paid by the click, so I don't really care if you read it, just click on it.
Oh, wow. How much do you get paid per click?
It's a fair question. I'd have to go back and look at it.
Oh.
Well, I'm getting paid by the pound, so then there's a conversion, and I don't know what the conversion comes to.
Well, the dollar's not worth nearly as much as the pound.
Brexit?
Yeah, £1 is I don't know. Let me fact check the show and find out what the current conversion rate is.
But I also couldn't tell you what my contract is, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh.
Look, just click on things. I'm writing again and getting paid for it. I mean, yay!
Oh, let's see. Pounds to dollars. One British pound equals 120. Oh, so it works out in your favor to get paid by the pound.
Brexit?
Yeah, 1 British pound equals $1.24.
Yes, I'm rich.
Or as they would say in Britain, $1.24 US.
No, I mean, it's a popular website. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's see where you'd be best off though.
I'm
converting your money. Let's.
I'm not worried about my conversion rate. I'm really just more worried about making.
Oh, it's better than the euro. If you're getting paid by the euro, would be the conversion rate is 1 to $1.10. The Indian rupee, though, no, that's you don't want to be getting paid in rupees right now.
Nope. I'm getting paid by the pound. I'm over at whatculture.com.
Ooh, whatculture.com. Those guys are really good. I actually enjoy them.
Yeah, they're a pretty big site. I always get kind of sad when I see how many people, because I've written for them before. When I see how many people just read the crap that I write, I'm like, man, that was a lot of people who just wasted their time on that. I've been told I ruin things for people. I was watching the. Did you see the SNL Cold Open this week?
Yes.
Where they have them going out. It looks like they're just hugging people in public, and it's supposed to be this whole nice thing.
Yes.
When I was watching that one, they had to have all of those people sign releases. And so I was like, you ruin everything nice.
They had to sign releases, and they were all corralled into that area in Times Square. And
I'm sure you could find the people in Times Square, but it's not quite as random as okay, you need to sign this release. Okay, now we can use your likeness on television.
Well, we also know that that part is pre-recorded because...
Yeah, let's take this photo with your license and have you sign off on this 17-page document. Okay, now we can do this random running through Times Square.
I thought it was a neat little concept, though.
I'm just told I ruin things.
Well, I mean, I've been saying that on this show for a long time now.
By bringing reality into things.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it later when we're talking about Doctor Strange, but as I was watching the movie, little Zach voice would Devil Zach would appear on my shoulder and be like, notice that? And I'd be like, son of a bitch, I'm just trying to enjoy the movie.
Do I have anything else? Oh, one last thing. There are only 5 of them, so get them all you can. I have 5 of a new board game, Ninja Turtles Shadows of the Past, I think. I have the Kickstarter exclusive boxes in the shop. There are 5 of them. When they're gone, they're gone.
Did you donate to the Kickstarter?
Yeah, I paid for it.
And that's how you got the games?
Yep, there was a retailer tier.
Oh, wow.
So I did the retailer tier.
Nice. So you can make your money back.
Yes, that's the idea.
And they get their money.
Yes, everyone gets their money.
Except for me.
Or a game.
I didn't even get mac and cheese this week.
Sorry, you're on your own.
Oh, well, that's fine. I'll survive.
But I'm going to bring those to Rhode Island, so buy them while you can. I imagine they'll go relatively quick, because there's only 5 in total.
Nice. Are you going to keep a copy for yourself to play?
Look, the box came with 6. I said I'm selling 5.
There you go. Does it look like it'd be a fun game to play?
Yeah, I haven't tried it. I got it today. I haven't had time.
Well, and you need multiple people to play it.
There's that too. I've also been by myself all day. One is the loneliest night. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna sing, but I chose better. I thought better of it.
But those are neat things. That being said, I left my notes at the store, so let's wing it and get into the news. Yay.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
The Dark Tower movie has been delayed.
Oh no!
Yeah, hopefully that's not a bad thing. It's kind of, you never know with these
Hollywood types.
It's not usually a good sign, but not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, movies get delayed all the time. I mean, the Doctor Strange movie had been delayed a couple of times before it came out.
This isn't a huge delay. It's just going from March to summer.
Oh, that's nothing.
No, it's nothing crazy. Don't get off the laptop. Hey, I need that for recording.
Kirby, come here.
Hello. Don't hit my beer either.
Oh.
Kirby.
Oh my
Kirby,
goodness.
Your step. Oh my goodness.
What'd he do?
I don't know.
Nothing. We're good.
He muted the speakers, but we're not using them.
We're being joined in studio this week by Kirby, who's raising holy hell.
Good boy. He licked his butt with that tongue.
Well, he's grooming my playoff beard. Ooh, yeah, in news, Zach went to a live sports ball game.
It was cold. I hung out with the baby.
But he cheered when my team scored touch points.
I only cheer for winners.
Well, we won, so...
I really like to go with the flow. I'm a follower.
Oh, you're a sheep.
Yep. I cheer for the winning team. I liked the Cubs forever.
Wah, wah.
The Cubs... Wait, did they win?
Yes, the Cubs won.
Okay, cool.
Oh my God, you're a...
They're from Chicago?
Yes!
Ooh, I put it together.
I'm proud of you.
I didn't know that until recently. Yeah, Dark Tower delayed by a couple of months. Hopefully, not the worst thing in the world is summer release, not, you know. It's a blockbuster-esque movie, so hopefully not the worst thing in the world. We'll see. It's a Stephen King adaptation, so it's either going to be the greatest movie of all time or complete garbage.
Oh, I think it's going to be fine. I look forward to it. You got Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba in it, so I don't see what could possibly be not good about it.
Don't eat the cat. Don't eat the cat. Yeah, he can fend for himself.
Yeah, all right.
You didn't think you were going to get a live show tonight, but you are.
Oh, wow. The undercard tonight. Charlie versus Kirby.
The Simpsons. Not comic book related news, but damn it, if you're going to listen to this show, you're going to get the news I want to talk about.
Like any other news outlet in the world.
Basically. I am the biased media.
Or the loser media. Depends on, the biased and loser media, depending on who won.
Renewed for 2 more seasons, giving it up to 30 seasons total.
Do you think that 30 will be it?
I hope not. Because I have this thing. Homer's age is supposed to be 39.
Yes.
And when I was a kid, like when I hit Lisa's age, like I was all excited, like I'm in the 2nd grade now. Then I hit Bart's age, like I'm in the 4th grade now.
So I
really want to go the whole span of Simpsons characters.
So you want to be as old as Homer?
I'd like them to go for another 11 seasons after this, yeah.
Do you think there's 11 seasons worth of material?
Probably. I mean, they rotate in just different. Like The Simpsons is a pedigree for comedy writers. If you get to do a couple of episodes, that's a big deal. So yeah, there's always new comedians, and it's a large enough cast. Yeah. Potential. I mean, we've never seen something go this long before. They could.
It's true. It's the longest television show in history.
Longest running scripted.
Longest running scripted. That's right.
And even that's consecutive, because if you took something like Doctor Who, which, I mean, I can't remember how many seasons Doctor Who has under its belt. Total, not consecutive.
It's also let's go with this. It's the longest running cartoon.
Oh yeah, they beat the Flintstones like 15 years ago.
A long, long time ago.
I'm all for it. The last couple of seasons have been really good. And people always talk about, like, The Simpsons isn't funny anymore. Like, look, the early 2000s were kind of rough. But really, since, like, the early to mid-2000s, it's been good again, and people just have kind of gone off. They're like, remember when Blink-182 was on The Simpsons and Tony Hawk and blah, blah, and yeah, and that wasn't great, but...
Metallica was
really
on The
what
Simpsons.
was good in, like, the early 2000s? Very little.
Gak. Do you remember Gak?
Yes, I do. Very little was good in the early 2000s. Simpsons is funny again.
You know what was really good about the early 2000s? The death of the bull haircut.
Did you end up watching the Boston episode?
No, I haven't.
It's good. It's funny.
Is it very good?
Even I got the sports jokes. They're very user-friendly.
Oh, really? Is it still online? Can
I imagine.
All right.
It has like the frowning Patriots coach or whatever.
Bill Belichick?
Yeah, that guy.
Oh. Does it have his voice or just him?
No, he just pouts and has a hoodie.
Oh.
And even I got that.
Wow.
God, we're going to be distracted by animals fighting tonight.
This is going to be outstanding. Not only do we have a great movie review coming up, but we've got
live entertainment.
Animal fighting in Zach's basement.
Hey. Good boy. What else happened in the news? Junkie XL has left Deadpool 2 in the wake of Tim Miller leaving the project.
Everybody's abandoning Deadpool.
Yep. He was the composer for the first movie, or one of them, and now he is out. He's like, no Tim, no Junkie.
That's very Tarzan-like. I should be like, no mac and cheese, no Jared for podcast.
You know, I wonder how certain news organizations will be able to report on that, because some news organizations, you can't use the word junkie.
But that's his name.
Yep.
Huh. Man with problem.
Here's a movie I always hated and never understood the appeal.
Is it by
Okay.
Michael Bay?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Are you getting angry?
Look, it's really dumb. Starship Troopers is coming back.
What's wrong with Starship Troopers?
It was always stupid.
Well, it's not meant to be smart.
It wasn't good. It was another movie that tried to be like a B movie but couldn't be a B movie because it had too much money and intention behind trying to be dumb. You can't fake it.
Do you want to know more?
No.
So Starship, that'd be what? This would be the fourth Starship Troopers
No,
movie.
it's a reboot, and it has. Speaking of Michael Bay, because this did come from Platinum Dunes, the studio that Michael Bay runs, the Friday the 13th reboot writers, and who are also the same writers who are on the upcoming Baywatch movie with The Rock and Zac Efron.
I love The Rock.
And Zac Efron.
He's not bad.
I think he's funny.
I enjoy him.
I like Neighbors. I thought that was funny.
Fair enough.
And his first ever on-screen appearance in Firefly,
Ah, that I did not know.
when he was a young boy.
I need to see. I know Michael Bay didn't direct Starship Troopers, but who did?
But I don't care about Starship Troopers. I never liked it. I thought it was stupid.
It was like gratuitously violent and gratuitously nudity.
Gratuitously nudity. He's not the one who's drinking either.
I am not. Let's see.
Lego Batman has another trailer, one of many.
Does it really?
It's like the fourth trailer they put out, but damn it, it's funny. I'm looking forward to this movie.
Paul Verhoeven, by the way, is the one who directed the original Starship Troopers movie.
Well, he can go right to hell.
It was 1997 when men were men and bugs were killing everybody. Casper Van Dien was in that. What else was Casper Van Dien in? Is that all he was really known for? Oh, he's on TV shows like I Married a Princess, Watch Over Me, Titans, Freshman Dorm.
You're not that excited about the Lego Batman movie, which I think is sad.
I mean, well, I wasn't not unexcited, but I wasn't like,
I think it looks funny.
holy cow. I think it looks very entertaining, and as I said to you earlier, it may be the best movie DC puts out this year.
Well, it's coming out next year. It's also
Well,
probably the best movie they'll put out next year.
very possible.
I almost considered doing a trailer breakdown for it, and I started, then I was like, nah, I'm going to stop.
No.
Because there's a lot of like background referencey stuff. I'm like, that's from this, that's from this. Then I'm like, you know what?
I'm not going to do it.
This one doesn't really matter. I don't think people care about what background details are in there. They're fun. Find them yourself. I didn't feel like doing a breakdown. But I did do another breakdown
Of the Wonder Woman trailer.
of the second Wonder Woman trailer.
Woo woo!
What do you think?
I think it's the typical second trailer. Gives us a little more direction. Gives us a little more like what the movie's maybe gonna be like. What kind of storyline it follows.
I thought this
You
one
can-
was kind of underwhelming.
You can definitely tell that there's it's cut, and things that happen sequentially in the trailer aren't gonna happen. Like there's one where like she's getting out of one of the trenches, and then you've got it cuts to Chris Pine saying, "Diana, no!" And it's like he's definitely not in a trench where she's getting out of a trench to
Yeah.
go like, it's just it was very standard second.
I really liked the first trailer, but
Theatrical
this one
trailer
I
stuff.
thought was a little underwhelming.
What else is there to really show in the trailer? We get a little more of the island. We maybe get a little more motivation as to why Diana's leaving the island.
I think what we're going to get is your villain who's played by your regular human actor, and then in the third act turns into a giant CG monster, which we've definitely never seen in any movie ever, or like every crappy episode of Smallville.
I think she left the island because the others were there.
You didn't watch Lost.
I didn't watch Lost. I watched the finale.
If you want to understand Lost, go read The Dark Tower. They just took the ending from there for everyone who's mad about that finale. It's just The Dark Tower.
My thoughts on it are similar to in Zack and Miri Make a Porno. It's like did you see this week's episode of Lost? Who knows? They're on the island. They're off the island. Who knows what they are? Something like that. I can't
It's
quote it
pretty aware.
verbatim.
If you just watch the show, it was pretty easy to keep track of. Look, they just like Stephen King and just made it up as they went along. It was a thing.
Yes.
We definitely see the trailer that there's going to be some modern stuff taking place, and they're going to be using Diana as a framing device for the movie, where she's looking back to the past to where Chris Pine definitely dies, and then she's sad for 100 years.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you be sad?
Well, because like we know from Batman v Superman, like she hasn't really been around, going back to World War One, so she's just, let's assume he dies.
Yes.
He dies in this movie, and then she's sad because of it.
That's fair and reasonable.
Trailer opens up, we see Steve Trevor crashing, and I think we're gonna see him we definitely see him infiltrating some kind of German camp. I think that he's going to fail to get shot down and then attempt to do it again with Diana, because we see German soldiers later on trying to kill the two of them. We also see them in a German court together. Thankfully, the Germans have very distinct uniforms, so it's really easy to track who are the Germans. I learned a lot about German uniforms this week.
Ah, but like World War I German uniforms.
Yeah.
With the Kaiser.
I matched it all up. It's all Germans.
I can imagine.
It's really handy when they have the Iron Cross. I'm like, okay, good, the Germans.
Yes, that's a very good giveaway.
But then even when they stormed the beach, the ones who were on Themyscira are German soldiers. I matched those up as well.
Look at you go. This is how Zach learns history.
Oh, if you want to get into weird cultural stuff, we can get into why Doctor Strange didn't go to Tibet when China is one of the largest audiences in the world.
Maybe when we get into the Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that side note, that's why it wasn't Tibet. Because China is a huge market.
But I mean, he did go to Kathmandu.
Yeah.
That's in Tibet.
That bar I used to go to in Jersey,
Yeah?
they closed down.
Oh.
Kathmandu, dollar drafts every Thursday.
I remember you told me about that. Didn't you dance on the bar there once? Or you threw up on the bar?
No, that was a different bar.
Oh, okay.
That was in Fall River.
Oh, where you threw up on the bar?
Yes.
Not your proudest moment?
I'm so glad this is recorded. I don't even know why I told you that story. You weren't there.
No, but it was a funny story at the time.
That's a thing I did.
Hey, we all make foolish choices in life.
I was like 22. Leave me be. Had to match that up. Yes, I was 22.
Oh, Kathmandu's in Nepal. Sorry.
Well,
I said Tibet.
this other place was in Trenton.
Oh, okay.
They closed down now. It looks like Danny Houston's character is going to be something other than just a human. It looks like we see his stunt double fighting with a sword, and then him getting thrown down by the lasso of truth. The popular theory on the internet is that he's going to be Ares, the god of war, which, considering they're in a war, not unreasonable for a theory. And I think he's going to be the guy who is played by a human character and then becomes a CG mass in the third act.
Oh, kind of like Red Skull.
No, I mean, he went Red Skull in the second act, and at least they just did prosthetics. We see a bunch of lightning and things being thrown around. I think we're going full CG ridiculousness.
Seems reasonable.
Nope.
Oh, by the way, as I was looking at Kathmandu, there are great hotels for really cheap. There's a 4.5-star hotel. What was I reading? $29 a night. They have a rooftop bar.
It's like Super 8 prices.
And free breakfast. It's a casual hotel. Hotel Friends in Kathmandu.
We see a woman in a mask. The popular internet theory is that it is Dr. Poison, a female Wonder Woman villain who likes to deal with poisons, and World War I had a lot to do with, we even see it in the trailer, chemical warfare.
Yeah, well, I mean, mustard gas.
Don't breathe it in.
Yeah, mustard gas was a thing that was not very good.
No, I think they got rid of that by World War II.
Mustard gas?
Yeah, chemical warfare wasn't really a thing then.
Well, except for the whole atomic bomb thing.
That's a different kind of thing.
Well, true.
That's more vaporizing and less give you cancer 20 years after the fact.
Or just give you radiation sickness and die, like, within weeks.
America. Yay.
Well, this is real depressing.
Yay, the election. In all fairness, I know next to nothing about Dr. Poison. End of discussion.
Dr.
I can't know everything.
Dr. Poison's greatest nemesis? The Poison Control Center.
That was one of those ones, I'm like, who is this? And I was trying to figure out, then someone, they were like, it's Dr. Poison. I'm like, oh. Who the hell is that?
Oh, they're a doctor who deals with poison, Zach. Come on. Get your shit together.
I can't know everything. There's a lot of comics out there.
I would take this clip now, Ed Heads, and save it for when Zach's like, oh yeah, I know everything.
I don't know
And
everything.
then you can just whip this out in front of him and say, see, there was that time that you said you didn't know everything.
Stop trying to whip things out in front of me.
I'm beside you, but it's the election. It's got me all patriotic. Saluting the flag and stuff.
I hope you're only raising the flag.
Correct. Hooray for the red, white, and blue. Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner said that there's big things happening with Hawkeye. That's not news. That was just a thing.
Yes.
Good for Hawkeye. Everyone's least favorite Avenger is going to do something. What a surprise.
I like Hawkeye. I think he's interesting. He's the only Avenger with family.
Yeah, but she split up Corey and Topanga temporarily, so, fuck her.
Wow.
I remember.
I don't forget.
That will do it for the news this... Oh, hello.
Hello, it's me.
Hello from the other side.
And on that note, we're going into an Editor's Note Comic Podcast movie review.
Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret. I'm always angry.
It's time for an Editor's Note Podcast review.
As we do each and every time, because it has been a while, no spoilers. And then spoilers. But also, it's just Iron Man, but with a better third act, so, there's your spoiler.
Wow.
It's really all it is.
But,
But with a better third act.
I liked the movie a lot.
Because no one went crazy for no reason.
Nobody went crazy for no reason. And, I don't know, I thought it was a great setup for, like, the next phase of the MCU. I thought it was well done. I thought the images were fantastic. I enjoyed all of the, I don't know like how to describe it, but like the art, the special effects. Everything was very, it felt all very kaleidoscopy, which was kind of neat and trippy.
Steve Ditko, the original artist for Doctor Strange, who was also the co-creator of Spider-Man with Stan Lee. A lot of the visuals were very reminiscent of his stuff. And he definitely chugged a lot of cough syrup.
There was some crazy stuff. My one problem with the movie, no crimson bands of the Sidorak.
Yeah, this movie has kind of the they introduce magic, but they do kind of magic light where everyone only has like 3 things so you can keep track of it.
Yes.
And they kind of do the opposite of Harry Potter. Like where Harry Potter starts off and they're yelling all of their spells as they're doing them. And by the last movie, they're just like, pew, 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 pew. Where this one, I wanted them to be yelling all of the ridiculous things. I wanted to be like, by the winds of Watum!
There was none of that.
No, there was none of that. They were just like, I have a flame whip and some shields. Do you guys have some pointy sticks? Okay.
Some invisible sticks.
Yeah.
But it was like...
It's adding another level, but at the same time, I wanted them to go like all out, and it was still kind of like Doctor Strange light. And even like, I'm noticing things in the background. I'm like, references! We're not going to deal with them. Whew!
I loved the visuals. Like I told you last night when I texted you, I was like, this is like Inception on hallucinogens. But,
yeah, and they played up
I liked it a lot.
Like our Stan Lee cameo was Stan Lee reading a book about mescaline.
Yes.
I was introduced to mescaline in The Matrix. Speaking of The Matrix, very early on in the movie, I'm like, this is like The Matrix 2. That's not a good thing. When they're like running on the sides of walls and then opening doors and like running out into like cityscapes, I'm like, oh no.
Well,
I've seen this before.
But I think
in a terrible sequel.
But they did it pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, but that was just immediately like what it conjured up. I'm like, it's The Matrix Reloaded. Or possibly Revolution. I can't remember which one goes first.
Reloaded.
They were stupid.
Reloaded, then Revelations.
6 months later.
Yes. No, I thought it was really cool. I like how they introduced the characters. The big thing that we were wondering about was how Benedict Cumberbatch's American accent was going to be. It was really not bad. It did. Fine. It did kind of sound a little bit like Hugh Laurie's house a little bit at times. Like I picked up
generic American.
Generic American. But no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was real interesting character development early. The car crash scene was terrifying. How anyone survives that kind of a car crash?
Well, I watched that. I'm like, so he's dead.
In all reality, he should have been.
He's dead on impact.
I also want to know, like, where in New York is a road winding like that, going off into the abyss of the Hudson River?
They changed that, and take it how you will. It's a little less dark, but a little more timely.
Where he's on a cell phone and
where he was texting while driving versus being drunk.
Yes. Did you also see at the end of the credits?
I laughed at it.
No texting and driving.
I shouldn't have laughed. I did. PSA, PSA.
Which I can't wait to talk about the end credit scenes because for me, this movie, as a fan of these, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Marvel Studio movies, this movie had like 2 or 3 things it needed to accomplish, and I feel like it did.
Some of them were a little shoehorned, just with a random statement at the end of a movie.
Yeah, okay.
We'll deal with that
later
on.
Well, that's true there, but I thought that For me, this movie had to do like 3 things. It had to set the scene for the Infinity War. It had to introduce a new character who's probably going to play a pivotal role in it. But it also had to set up, it has to set up the Thor movie as well, in a way.
It introduced the multiverse, which is something really big. And they didn't really touch on that a lot. That's not really spoiling anything. I would have liked to have seen more of the other realms and the other worlds, and we got a couple of sequences of look at what we can do, and that was about it.
I like the casual drop, like the Avengers Tower drop that was in there and the cityscape early. Mm-hmm. But no, I feel like this movie accomplished what it set out to do. It gave us a new character, gave us a new run of films. It sets up further, it kind of furthers along the plan and where things are going, and it also immediately inserts this man into the universe. Although
I like that the movie was a little bit smaller. It wasn't like Earth. It was technically the end of the world, but it didn't feel like necessarily the end of the world. It was on a little bit of a smaller scale.
I also like that for once New York doesn't get totally effed. It's Hong Kong that got ripped up. No offense to Hong Kong.
Well, we gotta pander to those Chinese markets.
But the other thing about this movie for me was it introduced a whole new wave of characters, and it's expanding on the universe, and we did it without having to have anybody else in the movie. You know what I mean? Right now, you can't have a Captain America movie without Tony Stark in it. You can't have, a Thor movie without, we know in Ragnarok, you're going to have Hulk is going to be in it, and there may be other characters in it, which we may discuss later on in this movie.
That got spoiled with some set photos where Thor might have a very specific address written down on a piece of paper. So, if you've been paying attention to Thor set photos, that was spoiled a while ago.
But no, there's really
which I have.
Okay, but it felt fresh in a way. It was your basic, typical Marvel origin story.
Well, that was my main problem with it. Is I walk out of the movie and I was asked so what do you think? I'm like, that was light on story.
Well, you knew going in it was going to be origin. It was all origin. It was all building this character.
But depending on what you're going in for, and it's not necessarily a negative, or it might be. I don't know. It's kind of it comes down to a personal preference thing. This movie is very paint by numbers as far as story goes. Hero has a fall from grace, has to learn from their mistakes, gains amazing powers, ultimately saves the day. Woo! Never seen that before.
Has to learn self-sacrifice.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
But
the sacrifice that literally has no stakes.
You saw the movie in IMAX 3D. Talk about that experience.
I got dizzy a couple of times, but I don't do 3D a lot and I don't do IMAX a lot, but 3D technology still isn't quite there. If I ever move my head that isn't 100% perfect on screen, everything gets really blurry, and
yeah,
it was really cool to see it. And they had this whole, I think the worst part of it is they had this whole countdown at the beginning of the movie, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, getting you prepped for the 3D, and it's just laser lights blasting your retinas. I'm that was unpleasant.
Uh-oh.
I'm is this part of the new Marvel thing? Nope, it's just the IMAX 3D, and it was horrible.
They were reading your retina so they could now, they could steal your identity.
They earned it, I guess, because, boy, it was unpleasant. I wanted to do that just because this was supposed to be a movie that was all, and it was all about visuals over story, which is...
There's some really neat visuals in it. What do you think of the Ancient One?
Fine.
There's a lot of,
There were some outraged people saying, they're whitewashing, and to a point that's true, but on the other hand, the Ancient One traditionally is super racist, like Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
So, kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Well, sure, we can do the Ancient One as a super racist Asian man. Or...
a bald Celtic.
Yeah, kind of nondescript white person.
I like the concept that the director said that he felt that the Ancient One was more of a title than an actual person.
Yeah, and like I said, they couldn't do, with China being as large of a market as it is, they couldn't do, wise, all-powerful Tibetan.
That's fair.
That's an unfortunate part of the politics of movie making that's also terrible and super racist.
And by fair, I mean like it's an
and
understandable
by
concern.
fair, super racist.
It's an understandable concern when you're trying to, China's the world's largest country and you're trying to market it to over 1 billion people.
You can't be like, look at this amazing Tibetan.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of conflict there.
Look at the all-powerful Tibetan
On the other side of the Himalayas.
Yeah.
How was the Everest scene in IMAX 3D?
I mean, it all looked really good. The visual of this movie, my general feelings are, it was pretty good. But in all fairness, some of the visuals, I haven't seen those visuals before. Those were unique to this movie. I haven't seen a lot of that stuff before, which is, movies have been around for a while. So when you can say that there's something you haven't seen, that is a bit of a feat.
Did you ever feel like you were in like on Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 64? Did you ever feel like you were about to fall off in the abyss? What were your thoughts on because I had seen some things, there were some, interesting thoughts on the cloak of levitation being sentient.
Traditionally, the cloak isn't sentient. It's been one of those things that's like implied that it has some level of consciousness. This was just straight up like Aladdin's magic carpet.
That's exactly what my feeling was like. This is carpet from Aladdin.
I'm like, all it's missing is that subtle face at the top.
I don't know. It was interesting. I thought it was a neat little like added mini kind of character.
That was funny.
He was wiping his tears away.
That was funny. Stop it.
Stop it.
This is another movie that's a little bit weak on villains. It does have Mads Mikkelsen, who I do really like as an actor.
Oh, he's a great villain type character.
He just looks evil.
Yeah, he was great as the Chief in Casino Royale, I thought.
And I never watched Hannibal.
I didn't watch Hannibal either, but he was fantastic as the Chief. The scene where he tortures James Bond in Casino Royale.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Ugh.
There's a really... I'll probably ruin the best line of the movie, but I love it when he's trying to explain his motivations, which ultimately made no sense to me, but he's like, we're doing this thing for this reason, and it's like, we're definitely not evil, and then Benedict Cumberbatch goes like, look at your face.
Yeah.
You are evil.
I liked
He's like, that was a good little beat.
There was some really good bits of humor in it. I like he's like, Mr. Strange, it's Doctor. Nobody say, oh, how did it go? Like, it'd be
like Mr. Strange.
Mr. Strange.
It's Doctor. It's like Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor.
That was in the trailer, and it was cut differently.
It's
in
like,
the film.
no, it's Strange. Well, I mean, it's a matter of perspective.
Boy, Rachel McAdams sure had a lot to do.
No, not really.
Oh, that's right. She had nothing to do.
Although that scene was like directly out. There was a scene where it was directly out of The Oath.
Yeah, that was 100%. And there was Nicodemus West.
Yes, he was in there.
Yep. Overall, it's a good movie. I was hoping for a great movie, and
you were hoping for a great movie with Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman. You were disappointed.
Well, I wasn't disappointed. It's a good movie. Hands down, it's a good movie, but it doesn't transcend good. And given Marvel's track record in general, like, especially of late, like Civil War was amazing. That was a great movie.
Yeah. I think it's probably the second best superhero movie of the year.
Yeah, probably.
Behind Civil War.
I think there have been 6 this year.
Well, you got this, Civil War, Batman v Superman. You've got
Suicide Squad. I'm blanking.
Apocalypse.
Yep, X-Men Apocalypse. Ninja Turtles. Go read my thoughts about a sequel on whatculture.com.
Nice little plug there.
Look, I get paid by the click.
So if I like click and then get out and then click and then get out and click then get out, you get paid 3 times?
I don't know.
Do you just sit there in the shop and click all day? Click, erase your browser, click, erase your browser, click, erase your browser.
Well, I don't know. It updates daily, so I don't know what day on day it looks like, but a lot of people.
So is this you saying go home and click on my What Culture article?
Well, look, I put some effort into it. I honestly didn't read the final product after like the editors look at it. I haven't read it, but
so you don't care if I read it, you just care that I click on it?
Well, I put some thought into it.
Fair enough.
A few hours worth of work for me to pump out an article.
Oh, good job. Is it a 2-page article? Do you get to click? Is there a jump to it? Or
it's a top 5 thing, so there are 5, including the introduction. So I guess 6 pages.
Oh wow!
But they're not like blurbs. They're like legitimate like
Do you get to... If I
Right.
read this, will I know that it's you?
I imagine.
Like, it'll be like, this is Zach's voice. Does it say by Zach Bowen on it?
Yeah, and I
Oh,
kind of I cut out a lot of. You can see me like in the middle. I get super snarky, and then I try and cut back on it a little bit.
I'm excited to actually go home and read this now, to be honest.
I took out my meanest lines. I had a few choice things to say that I ultimately ended up cutting.
Well, good for you.
I want to try and be
Discretion's the better part of valor.
I wanted to be as neutral as possible. Well, not interesting, but not cruel.
Any other non-spoiler thoughts?
Chiwetel Ejiofor, best part of the movie.
Oh, as
Baron Mordo.
Baron Mordo.
But they don't say Baron in this, he's just Mordo. But I think
he's going to become Baron.
Well, he's just so damn good in everything he does.
Oh, man, he
except
he fills the screen.
That crappy Christmas movie.
I mean, we'll talk about it in the spoiler section. There's like a part of me that's like, at the end of the movie, he kind of... What happens with his character?
I understand his motivations 100% though, and I think it just comes down to him as an actor. He sells it.
Oh, yeah.
He's so damn good in everything. It's like my favorite movie of all time. He's the villain, and I love him in 12 Years a Slave, and he's great in this. He's just...
What are your thoughts on Wong?
Dumb. I wasn't a fan. They set up a gag in the beginning, and I was just like, uh-huh.
This is going to pay off at some point, and
it's going to be the end.
Incredibly forced.
It's not going to be that interesting or funny. I'm glad he's there, because Wong is a big part of Doctor Strange, but the gag they set up, I was like, that's going to be awful. And then it was.
Do you like how they set up the Sanctorums?
Yeah, there's so much stuff in the background, and a lot of stuff with the weapons, like, and I've mentioned it before, but we see the staff of one from Runaways, and it was a very background character. I don't even remember the woman's name, but she's definitely a villain, and her daughter ends up taking the staff of one, Nico, and it's great.
Let me say it was Sanctums, not Sanctorums. I said Sanctorums, but Sanctums.
Sanctum Sanctorum.
That's the one in New York.
It's all of them.
They're all Sanctum Sanctorums?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Good to know.
With their fancy window.
Yes.
Visually, a stunning movie. Story-wise, paint by numbers.
So, using our patented rating system of see it in theaters, red box it, or don't bother, where are you going to put it?
Boy, it's been a while since we got to do that. We haven't seen a movie in a bit. See it in theaters. This is one...
What? You never say see it in theaters.
I often say that if it's worth it.
Well, I think this is like
it's
the third time maybe all year. Maybe.
It's such a visual experience. It's worth seeing in theaters, and I like the way that... I saw it in the IMAX 3D, and I think that was worth it.
So, I didn't see it in IMAX 3D. I saw it in regular standard movie, digital projection. I was blown away. I enjoyed it. I was saying to myself, wow, this must be even like better in IMAX. So I guess
it's even better on drugs.
Well, I would assume so.
No, I imagine that would be terrifying. Don't do drugs before this movie.
Or just don't do drugs, period.
We'll see what happens on Wednesday.
Fair enough. It could be legal in Maine come Wednesday.
And then I may or may not condone it.
Oh.
I'm such a friggin' square. I don't even know where to find weed, and I know it's like literally everywhere, but it's just not a part of my world.
Did you get a delicious movie snack when you went?
I hit a delicious movie bar ahead of time, so.
Oh, I got the popcorn.
That's right. I'm gonna alter my mind legally by getting loaded.
I had the popcorn with the chemical butter and I think it's Twizzlers.
I went out to lunch ahead of time.
Where'd you go to lunch?
This place, Litchfields.
Never heard of it.
It's in Wells. I was down getting dog stuff.
Was it good? Good food?
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
Good little restaurant in Wells.
Well, there you go.
Then I went to Saco.
I'm going to say see it in theaters. I think that in order to get like the full appreciation of the amazing, stunning visuals. But it's Marvel doing Marvel things.
Yep. That being said, we are getting into spoilers.
Look out! There's spoilers ahead!
I have a solution.
What's that?
Well, how do I say this without cursing? Without it being a mind screw, with it being a mind screw on visuals.
Yes.
I can't say it the other way, not podcast appropriate.
Well, you could bleep it out.
I could, that's an extra level of editing.
No, just say mindfuck.
Ah, no, I gotta edit it now. I think there was a missed opportunity here for how they could have structured the story. Like, the visuals are crazy, they're insane, they're all over the place. But the story is very traditional, it goes from very much Act 1, 2, 3. We know it's going to wrap up. We're all fine and dandy.
Great amount of hubris in it.
But what I would have liked to have seen to make it, which I think could have elevated the movie into greatness, because like I said, it's pretty good, but it's not great, would, and I'm not going to, it really doesn't change the movie that much, but it makes it interesting. Open with the ending. Open with Doctor Strange going to Dormammu and almost using that as a framing device of him being like, who are you, going into his mind, and then introducing us to the narrative completely disjointed, but still making it work. So think kind of like
flashback,
not straight flashback, but think almost like
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, like Pulp Fiction or Memento or Deadpool, and kind of combining all those styles and creating a narrative that feels disjointed and disconnected, and we still have this framing device, and it just tells it in a different way. So it's not just visually messing with you, but it's also messing with you on a story level. But we're talking a big whiteboarding session of how to rearrange those scenes to make them feel disjointed but still tell a proper structure. I think that would have been a much more interesting way to present the movie and could have made it great versus pretty okay.
So, like, he starts out with Dormammu, and
going like
Dormammu like reads into his mind.
Well, he's like, I've come here to bargain, and then he kills me and like pops back and be like, what is going on? And
yeah.
Then he goes like, well, who are you? And then he like dives into his mind, and giving that, like, you know, I assume that thoughts are weird, disjointed things, that he finds things in a weird, disjointed way. But if you structure the story properly, you could have it jumping from things that are thematically relevant and ultimately creating a narrative, even if it is jumping all over the place.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a more interesting approach to the story than what we got. Like, if you're going to go like weird psychedelic, like, I feel like they tried to dial it back with a simple story. Go full blown. Make it 100% a mind screw around.
But then how do you make it accessible to casual fans? So that's the line that they have to walk, though. I mean, I love your idea, and I think it's a great idea. But at the same time, like, I think you got to look at what Marvel's doing compared to what DC's doing.
If you structure a movie, like the examples that we gave, like Pulp Fiction or Memento or Deadpool, like those aren't movies. Those aren't hard to follow. You just have to watch it, and it's fine. If you structure it, and it's, you know, neither here nor there because they didn't do it, but I think that would have been a big difference.
But look at the Marvel money making machine. Okay, who's Marvel's target demographic compared to movies like Pulp Fiction or Memento, and their target demographic?
Is that different? It's all like 20-somethings.
No, but okay, think about kids going to see this movie. All right, give me the 12 to 15, 12 to 18. The upper range of like 15 to 18, I understand, but like...
So give them some mescaline and call it a day.
Wow.
Look, half the kids are on Ritalin anyway. They're already hyper-focused, ready to go.
I mean, I'm presenting a counter argument. I agree. I think that, yeah, it was safe. I feel like they, like you said, missed opportunities here. I think they played it safe with the typical linear hero development arc.
It's Iron Man, but with a better third act. In the third act, meaning the villain doesn't go randomly crazy for no reason.
I mean, but you could say that about almost any of the other Marvel origin stories. They all kind of follow that Iron Man template.
I mean, your rich billionaire fall from grace, like, learns humility, gives an attempt at sacrifice that ultimately amounts to nothing. Iron Man was like, I'll sacrifice myself. Whoopsie daisy, the blast blew me aside for no good reason. And Doctor Strange is like, I'm going to be in this time loop for 3 minutes. I sacrificed 3 minutes of my time.
Well, I mean, there's 3 minutes in the movie, but expand your mind, Zach. It could have been longer than 3 minutes.
I don't think it was. I think it was just 3 minutes. They didn't. If they had given like a throwaway line, like I was in there for 100,000 years, that would have been some kind of sacrifice. But instead, I think Dormammu was just like, I don't understand time, and this is mildly annoying.
I thought it was interesting and neat that Benedict Cumberbatch was also the voice of Dormammu.
Yep. Well, no, he wasn't the voice. He was the mocap.
Oh, The motion cap.
Yeah, and I think the voice is still unknown. It's
Oh.
some British actor, and I think that's as deep as they've gone with.
Well, Benedict Cumberbatch is some British actor.
He is some British actor.
He also hosted Saturday Night Live last week.
I didn't watch it.
Oh. No, I did like a lot of the different things. I liked the scenes in Kathmandu. I loved the visuals. Again, but I guess like nondescript bad guy trying to open a portal to another dimension.
I didn't understand the motivation. So like his family died, so now he wants immortality. I'm like, okay. Did you get that? Because
no,
that really doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
It didn't make a ton of sense to me either. I mean, you don't get a ton of like background on Stephen Strange other than like he's...
Oh, no, I meant the...
No, I'm jumping points now.
I'm calling him Mads Mikkelsen.
I'm jumping points now. You can see like the desperation, like that's all he has is his work, is his ability to do surgery, and he loses out on it. But he's the typical so wound up in his work and himself that he's missing out on an opportunity with a woman in his life, and you know it had all the regular elements of the typical superhero who gets kind of thrust into the moment. Although I mean, I feel like there are times it sets itself up to like where he's like, I want out, I don't want part of it. Like he just all of a sudden accepts practicing magic, thinking it's going to heal his hands, and he never really pursues that. And it's like the whole reason he went there was to heal his hands.
I thought it was to introduce Beyonce to Nepal.
Oh, she was already there. She's big. Come on.
That made me laugh.
It did. It was funny.
But there's something about I don't know why, but when they said like when I heard Drake name dropped in a Marvel movie, I'm like,
Drake.
Yes, God, we've seen
Eminem. Okay.
From Degrassi or from like what do we go with here?
Ah, there you go.
Look it up, kids. Drake was on Degrassi, The Next Generation or whatever they called it.
Star Trek: The Next Generation.
But
Drake was not on that.
No, he was not on Star Trek. What else happened in this movie? This is what happens when I leave my notes at the store.
Well, I mean, I think the learning of the magic, the Ancient One, kind of interesting character. That was very Matrixy to me at times too. The whole like the learning area, the mirror dimension. That felt like the training program.
Mm-hmm.
You could come in
you
here.
You can't affect anything like in. Which I thought was a little bit of a cop-out, where it was almost like this excuse of like why we weren't aware of these people before. Like, oh, it was all happening in the mirror dimension.
And to give them an excuse to like really warp New York City and not have a consequence.
Yeah.
I loved all of that, though. It just felt like...
I love when he's like, I made a mistake. This was a dumb plan.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this was not smart.
Like, good thing you're wearing a cape that makes you fly, because you'll be fine. There was a lot of mystical artifacts from the Marvel Universe that I really enjoyed. Oh, we can talk about that shoehorned thing at the end. We're like,
oh, yes, we can.
like, good thing that's the Eye of Agamotto is really just an Infinity Stone. God, that was forced.
But yeah, it's just like at the end, and Wong's like, oh yeah, that's an Infinity Stone. He's just wearing it around his neck the whole time.
Yeah,
but we saw it before. It was in Odin's vault.
Yeah, I don't know.
How did it get from there to there?
It might not have been the eye that was there before. That was just a theory, and they look different ultimately. Speaking of Odin.
Oh yeah. Do you want to get to those scenes yet? Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about real quick. Like all the New York stuff, very like felt like Penrose Stairs. You know what the Penrose Stairs are?
What's his name?
It looks like they're going both up and down.
Well, who's that artist? MC Escher. It was all
yes, it was Escher. Yes,
there was a lot of MC Escher stuff going on in there with the visuals, which I thought was
trippy.
Yeah,
but that felt very Inception-y because they talk about MC Escher and the Penrose Stairs in Inception, and in creating the different dream worlds and being the architects of it. But no, I thought the first end credit scene was great. Yep. It sets up what's going to happen in Ragnarok because we don't really know. We have very limited thoughts about where it might be going or what it might be.
Well, I think I'm not sure if this is going to be like an end of Ant-Man thing, because at the end, the post-credit scene of Ant-Man was just a scene that was lifted straight out of Captain America Civil War. I can't tell if this scene was lifted because Thor has information that the audience doesn't have. Where he's like, oh, me and Loki are looking for Odin. Where we left Thor last time, he was like, Loki's dead, everything's fine with Odin. Odin is definitely on the throne. And we certainly didn't structure this ending around not knowing if Anthony Hopkins was going to sign on for a third movie because he was the last person we signed for the second one.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a long run-on sentence. Anthony Hopkins, you don't know what he's going to do, except for Transformers 5. What are you doing, Anthony Hopkins?
Transforming?
Apparently. But that was that's going back a ways, but that was my theory why Thor 2 ended the way it did, because they're like, well, he was the last one to sign on. He might not do another. But Thor clearly has more information than the audience has, so I'm not sure if that scene was lifted out of the middle of that movie, because that scene was directed by the Thor Ragnarok director.
Yes.
Or if they're just using it. And we've known for a little while that Doctor Strange was going to be in Thor. I just didn't want to mention it on the show. Because there were some on-set photos taken of Thor walking around with a photo of Doctor Strange's address written down.
Yes.
So, it's not, if people don't want to be spoiled, it's not worth spoiling, but that information has been out there for a little bit.
But it's starting to feel like, like the comics where you can have the characters in this universe interact and they come in and out.
Yeah, I think Thor is going to, looks like Thor is going to seek out Doctor Strange, though, versus the other way around. I don't know, this could be out of the middle. I also like that in the post-credit scene, Doctor Strange is wearing his traditional, his silly gloves. Yellow gloves.
Yes.
Versus the rest of the movie where he just has the, scarred hands.
What did you think of Thor's never-ending beer glass?
I thought that was funny.
That was a neat little gag.
I don't drink tea.
Then what do you drink? Not tea.
He just has a stein.
And it's next scene it's empty and then it fills back up.
I just how Thor downed that beer in 0.3 seconds. He's like, no more beer.
Did you notice too, Thor didn't look like typical Thor, a little more ragged beard,
He was in regular street clothes, which we haven't seen a ton of so far, but again, set photos have shown that him and Loki are both wearing street clothes. And he is a man who annoyingly gets more handsome every time you see him. You son of a bitch.
Well, he's Thor.
You're really ruining it for the rest of us.
Thor Odin's son, man. Don't mess with him.
The rest of us who get uglier every day, and you who get prettier every day.
Now, I'm going to ask for a theory. Here comes theory time, all right? So we've got we got 5 of the 6 Infinity Stones.
So this also totally negates my idea with the Guardians trailer that the Time Gem was in there. I'm wrong, so hey.
You thought the Time Gem was going to be in Guardians?
Because I said with the characters moving in slow motion. I originally thought that the Time Gem was going to be the Eye of Agamotto, but then I also said, hey, maybe it's in Guardians too, and I'm apparently wrong.
So now, my question to you is, where is the Soul Gem going to come into play? Is it going to be in Guardians, or is it going to be... Well, we got...
James Gunn said that there isn't any Infinity Gems in Guardians 2. That doesn't mean it's necessarily true, but let's just say that it is. That's a weird one to stick, because, all we have in between there is going to be, Thor and Guardians and Spider-Man, and that'd be a weird place to put it. I imagine it's probably going to be...
Is it going to be in Ragnarok?
I'm almost expecting it just to be in the regular old Avengers 3 and just maybe be like...
there's the Thanos theory, where each of the Infinity Gems matches up with a letter in Thanos.
That's a stupid theory.
We're down to H.
But he's already gotten those in the books well before this idea. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it'll just be the cold open to the Avengers 3 of him just going in and punching someone and getting it.
Well, that would not be a good sell-off. I feel like that'd be really... There has to be something.
But a lot of these have just been shoehorned in as just and this thing is this, and I bet you never realized. They haven't been worked in that well. Except maybe in Guardians.
Isn't there another, what are the list of the movies coming up before Infinity War?
Guardians 2, Spider-Man, Thor. I think that might be...
Oh, no, there's more than that. Hold on. I'm going to pull up the Marvel.
Black Panther?
I don't think it's going to be in Black Panther.
Sorry, I listed 4 movies before Avengers.
Let's see. Feature films. Phase 3. What about... Nope, there isn't. Because it would have to be introduced before Captain Marvel. So you've got Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man, Thor, and Black Panther before Infinity War, which is 2018.
Black Panther's potential, I guess.
I think it's got to be either Guardians or Thor.
They've both done one, though. It just seems reductive to the series to just have them all be about moving towards the finale. Black Panther's potential, because the whole idea of Black Panther is supposed to be, like, you know, an African nation that's still very much connected to its roots, but it's also is the most technologically advanced nation in the world. So you could potentially have the Soul Gem be a part of their culture.
Like Soul Train?
No.
Oh.
Different thing. There's potential there, but I mean, ultimately, I'd put my money on it being in the first part of
Infinity War?
Yeah, or which they're just rather calling Avengers 3. Now they split up that whole, like, part 1 and part 2 crap, because everyone's like, stop Twilighting up this movie!
Yes.
But I don't know, we'll see. That's the theory. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just what I want.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it could fit into Guardians.
They already did it once, and Thor already did it once. Don't go back to the same well. Mix it up.
What if it's Star-Lord's dad? What if it's
Ego, the living planet?
Yeah, maybe the Soul Gem is there.
It could be. Overall, I say go see Doctor Strange. It's a decent enough movie, but not great.
I say go see it. I think, you know, it's one of those movies I think that it'll be just as good when you see it at home, but you're going to miss out on a lot of the stunning visuals that you're not going to get on a 32-inch TV that you would get on a, you know, 30-foot movie screen.
But you can probably do more drugs in the privacy of your own home to watch it, too.
Hey, if that's your thing, go for it.
They gave a PSA to don't do texting while driving. I guess don't do drugs either, kids.
Yes, kids.
Or
please.
Texting while driving.
Certainly don't do drugs and text and drive.
I don't condone any of this unless question 1 passes by the time this podcast is released, and then do what you want. I don't care.
I mean, who are we to tell you what to do? We're just 2 guys trying to make our way in the world.
Going off a vague recollection here because of I don't have it written in front of me anymore. Letters to the editor.
Here's your letters to the editors. To submit your questions, email us at editorsnotecomics@gmail.com.
Keeping things election appropriate.
Keeping it strange.
Nope. This is a good one, I thought.
Okay.
Who are the best liberal and conservative comic book characters?
Ooh. Tony Stark's definitely a liberal.
I mean, there's a lot of people who you can't necessarily say. I'd say Tony Stark's conservative. I mean, he made his money off of war profiteering.
Yeah, but look, maybe he's conservative.
He's a billionaire who...
Philanthropist, genius, playboy.
But he's also someone that still puts...
But he ends up giving back to the community so much.
I strike as going off of the first Civil War with him signing off with the government on regulation and
that sounds like, you know, liberal democratic platform to me. More government, big government.
I guess it's big government. He might have changed. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so maybe early Tony Stark is conservative.
Yeah, and then
converting to a liberal.
And then he sees the light.
No, we're not doing that because there's good characters on both sides. Where I would also say, Steve Rogers is your.
Oh, Steve Rogers he's pure red-blooded Republican, man.
Yeah, he's all about small government. He believes in the military and appropriate use.
And that's why they conflict so much.
Yeah, that could be it. But no, he's all about small government and the military.
Do you think Steve Rogers would vote for Donald Trump?
No. He questions large military affairs. Like, go with Civil War, the comic, or the movie. He's questioning the idea of too much government involvement. I think he's very much what the prototypical, greatest generation GOP would want to be.
Yeah, like
he's the best example of what I think that party's.
He would have loved Ronald Reagan had he not been frozen. What about Superman? Do you think Superman would be?
I think it depends.
He's an illegal immigrant, man.
I think it depends on the version of Superman. If you go with like Frank Miller's Superman in The Dark Knight Returns, he is 100%. I mean, this is before, because Frank Miller's a kind of guy, like in his youth when he wrote that, he was very much a liberal guy who in his age has become more conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Like his early, when he was writing Batman, his Batman was like hyper liberal and Superman was hyper conservative.
Superman is like, he's totally an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's a big part of his story is the immigrant story, but he's also very much, and that changed over time because eventually he became a citizen of the world, but, you know, truth, justice, and the American way. He was, I mean, Superman's a character I would consider more conservative than liberal.
Yeah, I would think so.
But then you have guys like Green Arrow who are, and not if you're watching Arrow, the TV show, which I can't really speak that much on because I don't watch it, but in the comics, he's like the biggest bleeding heart, hardcore liberal you can get. It's like the little man, and that's why he pairs well with conservative characters like Green Arrow or Hawkman, who are very conservative.
What about what was I gonna say? Who was I gonna say? Spider-Man. I bet Spider-Man, millennial. He's a blue vote.
Yeah, I'd imagine science first kind of guy.
Yeah, I could get behind it. Maybe that's why I like Spider-Man so much.
Gosh, I can't tell which way you lean.
I might be a little more left.
And I'm not as moderate as I would like to pretend I am.
You're very left. We're both very left.
I'm registered as an independent.
Yeah, I'm an independent as well. I don't believe in being.
That's a bunch of crap.
Actually, I am. I am a registered independent.
I believe that's what you're registered as.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting that. I'm doubting the intent behind it.
I voted for Republicans plenty of times.
But yeah, I mean, that's some of the fun of comics is that you have, even in some cases, well-adjusted, in some cases, extreme characters on both sides of the issues. And I'd be hard-pressed to think of times when personal politics were used to diminish a character's worth. Generally speaking, there's just people with different points of view. And they're all, at least, you know, I mean, these are all fictionalized versions, but they're all people trying to do what's best in the world.
But sometimes they fight over it. There's always a fight. Oh, that's what we need. We need, like, a fight.
Nope. Let's not have that. Let's have
right.
The opposite of that.
Well, no, I'm hoping people were civil yesterday.
I don't know.
And nobody messed anything up, and derailed the American political process.
Let's look to our fictional betters and just say that there are people on both sides of the issues who are well-intentioned.
What do you think? What do you think Doctor Strange is?
Rich. Let's see. Rich Doctor says science, so not Republican. But being that hyper-rich tells me Republican.
But then...
I'm generalizing.
But then possibly turns Democrat when he, like, gets...
Or you could say that he became more spiritual.
More spiritual. Maybe he becomes more progressive.
I would say being more spiritual would put you on the conservative side of things.
Not always.
Unless you're into, like, the hippy-dippy kind of stuff. So
Did you not watch the movie?
Ultimately, I'm going to say Democrat. There we go. I had to take a walk around there, came up with Democrat.
He's doing some serious drugs in that movie.
He did not find the Christian Lord and Savior.
We never really talked about the astral projections.
Oh, they were neat.
Yes.
But
the fight with the astral projection, that was cool.
Kind of useless if you're just leaving your, like, limp body there for someone just to punch you with the dick repeatedly.
Yeah.
Kind of useless unless you're fighting people on the astral plane.
It really is.
I don't know why I landed on punch you in the dick, but...
Well, and on that note, where can we find you?
On whatculture.com.
Yeah, okay, where else now?
Click away. Editorsnotecomics.com. Also click away to find new releases every week along with the podcast and other assorted things.
You're becoming Ultron. You are the internet.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I kind of slacked off on it. I haven't been cutting videos recently. I'll try and start cutting more videos.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get ourselves back on the YouTube.
I'm on YouTube every week. I just haven't been cutting, like, individual videos.
Oh, you just put the whole podcast on YouTube?
Yeah, I've been doing just the swath and versus putting... Look, it takes a lot of time to cut videos.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't always have enough time to cut a video, or we might not have a good, 4 minutes that would make for a good individual video.
That's fair enough. You have a lot going on. I understand.
And the rest. I'm all over the place. I hope you're still there, America. And you're on the Twitter.
I am on the Twitter, which is probably on fire today.
Yeah, no
Just
kidding.
absolute dumpster fire.
Did your campaign take it away from you?
No, my campaign did not take my Twitter away from me.
Welcome back, Kirby.
At Junior Rich on Twitter. I'm trying to do a better job of interacting with the people who tweet at me.
I know, I'm bad at that too. I gotta get better.
Yes.
You know what I gotta get better at? Responding to emails.
Oh, that may also be. Well, we respond to at least one a week on the show.
Well, I'll shoot people an email, and they'll send me a response, and then if my response is just okay, and you can also say, because you texted me, that I never, if I have to go like, yeah or okay, I just don't answer.
Yeah. Although, let me read my last, let's have a moment here where I read your last several tweets, or not tweets, but text messages to me. I said, is there another scene at the very end of the credits? One mid-credits and one post. I said, just saw the mid-credits. Then yes, one more. I want Thor's beer stein that never ends. You respond with #squad goals. I then said, I really enjoyed the movie. You say, I'm glad I don't do drugs. That would have been too much. And I said it was Inception meets hallucinations. Then there was nothing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's a yeah or yep response.
Where if that's my answer, I just don't bother. If I just write okay, I'm not gonna.
And then your one text to me today is, you're on your own for food tonight.
We'll be back. Oh, you're on next week. I think, yeah, that's next week. You're running the show next week.
I'm running the show next week?
Harry Potter week.
Oh, all right. I'll do my best to be prepared.
I'll do the news. I'll get a question, but yeah, we're on you. This is your world, not mine.
My world's football right now.
That's fair. You know Harry Potter better than me, so
I'm hoping my world's football next week too.
Thematically, you're running the show. You've been promoted.
All right, so it's the Editor's Note podcast starring Jared with co-host Zach.
Yay!
Does that mean I get 80% of the revenue next week?
Well, I'm still prepping 66% of the show.
Oh. Does it mean I still get 20% of the revenue next week?
Why not?
All right.
We'll be back.
Bye, everybody.
You know how like some people have like they have like catchphrases, or you have like Colbert who's like, stay human.
We don't have that.
Don't be a dick. Just be nice, okay?
I like it.
See ya.